Some people like to use a sort of popular concept saying that the civil rights movement is dead.
Yeah, I've heard that a number of times, and I think that's a misnomer. In fact, I started doing an article on that. Uh, I think that's based upon what they conceived of as the objectives of black within a limited period of time, not as how minorities actually view themselves.
Floyd McKissick, a lawyer and civil rights activist who always aimed at the stars with grit and determination, started his long series of accomplishments with the successful desegregation of the University of North Carolina. This was a school Mr. McKissick applied to but was denied entry. But Mr. McKissick, with his determination, he went to the North Carolina Law School instead, got his degree successfully, and managed to school the university for denying him entry. No less than a year later, with the help of the NAACP and Marshall Thurgood, he was able to win the case and desegregate the school, allowing him to apply and for 3 other black Americans to apply to the school as well. He won many cases during his time as a lawyer, but during this time he also organized a youth movement known as the Durham Youth Crusaders. This group later would successfully complete a large-scale 2-year-long picketing protest against a local segregated ice cream parlor in his hometown. This snowballed into many other student protests and demonstrations popping up throughout North Carolina at the time due to the massive success of his campaign. This further snowballed to many protests popping up around the nation. McKissick continued his focus on civil rights, going on to work with major leaders such as Martin Luther King in organizing the March on Washington, helping the NAACP in the successful defense and legal counsel for thousands of civil rights demonstrators, and later successfully as the chairman of TICOR, shifting the ideals of the movement from total nonviolence and protest to being much more invested in black power and the social integration of black Americans in society. After stepping down, his final big act was a massive project, the complete construction of a city, for the sole purpose of giving black Americans a community that they could operate without the need to rely on white Americans to function. Floyd McKissick ensured he spent his life to better society for black Americans around the nation, and his actions can speak for it clearly. Is individual power really the only way to get power?
If you think that you can take power from somebody, I think you're whistling Dixie. And I think if Rockefeller anointed me tomorrow, Floyd B. McKissick Rockefeller, he wouldn't give me no power by doing it. I think that power is something that you acquire by a growth stage of skilled development of the mind and the ability to use the mind successfully, and the ability to deal with all facets of American society. And I think power comes by having a damn sound analytical mind, a mind that doesn't carry chips on its shoulders, an ability to have funds to solve problems with. That's just a part of it, of course.
Floyd McKissick's importance lies in his mindset. McKissick doesn't see winning cases as a major step forward, or every protest as a milestone towards victory. He saw the victories of individuals as the real changes that need to be made. He wanted black Americans to be able to live life without needing the help of civil rights movements to be heard. Rather, he wanted individuals to be able to advocate for themselves and be heard and respected, listened to. Once Floyd was given leadership of CORE, he used it to spread his ideas far and wide, helping the spread of the idea of black power throughout the nation. With many nowadays joining groups to better spread awareness and help others, I think it's important to look at Mr. McKissick's views and better advocate for the individuals. Better provide options so black Americans won't need to fight for segregation, but simply exist within society, being able to fully operate within its bounds without worry if opportunities presented are being enforced or whether they're from goodwill. I didn't get the opportunity to research Floyd because we shared a job occupation I wanted, or because I was researching random topics and stumbled upon him. No. Floyd McKissick serves as an ideological role model to me. Floyd's ideas stuck with me, this belief that people shouldn't have to fight the system they are part of. He was important in reaffirming that yes, these changes should be made, but we should be looking for solutions that should be making these cases redundant in the first place. Though this message can be found in a variety of sources, what made Floyd stand out to me was surely the fact he wasn't trying to stand out. I felt I could connect with this man because he wasn't trying to win people over to the side, he was trying to inform them, not with massive gestures, but with incremental steps working to change people at their base understandings. A sentiment I've shared throughout my entire life, I feel. Always working without expecting immediate change, but change that could be seen and felt. Change that really mattered. In the early formative years of America, the 1900s, Floyd grew to become very familiar with its outdated practices in the fight that was just beginning to put an end to it, the beginning of the Civil Rights Movement. A nation strife with racist police, a corrupt governing system determined to keep its ethnic population down, and segregation remnants from the nation's destructive past, America was in a very fragile state, waiting for a change to come along and kick it into a new age. Floyd's childhood was filled with racist encounters and experiences that formed him early in life, like his experience of being kicked to the back of the bus with his grandma and her crying into his shoulder because of the unfair treatment. Later in life, McKissick had to deal with a situation. Going back to the topic of the UNC school case. To get back at them, he made sure to go to another branch of their school, but also to get his law degree in that school, work with the NAACP and their good marshal to ensure he would win the case, and then despite having his law degree, he still attended them after winning the case. Floyd managed to work past a majority of his struggles and come out on top of them with no issues. He was able to cleanly, deliberately argue his cases. Now, most of these weren't one and done deals. He continued to revisit his old home and work with the locals to improve their integration in the area for years to come. Floyd worked during the formative years of America to set precedents, consistently striking down racist cases and discrimination throughout the court systems of the U.S., ensuring that laws today can look back at what he's done and based on the precedents he set. One of Floyd's biggest displays of his ideals came towards the end of his career with the creation of the black majority city known as Soul City. Society's reaction to this city, I believe, reflected what they thought of Floyd's ideals. They saw Soul City as a hopeful venture, but were unable to look past its flaws, as it was stricken with poverty, corruption, and mistrustful residency. Or that would be the case if that wasn't slander spoken about the city to stop its development. With the city constantly being attacked by the media, support for the project dwindled, and as public image worsened, Floyd was unable to get enough businesses to join the community to kickstart its economy, leaving the city stagnant and in the end abandoned due to inability to start up. Society's views on Soul City comparatively are an extension of their views on McKissick. Many saw his ideas of black power as dangerous. Others tried to discredit him due to his political views and the backers that helped him in funding Soul City, primarily the Republican Party. Many saw, in the end, while many were able to benefit from his attributions to the nation, most preferred to sweep him under the rug and lump him in with many other groups that shared similar ideas to him, content with mentioning his name once or twice and leaving it at that. It can be argued Floyd has left many contributions to be remembered throughout our nation, from his initial desegregation of UNC log schools to his creation of his own city meant for black people to have their own community and economy they could thrive in. He has made sure to leave an impact in place of his death. Although Soul City lies dilapidated today, residents still choose to stay in the community they formed, and the meaning behind their homes still fills them with pride despite the worsening conditions. Furthermore, his shared ideas are still extremely prevalent in today's society, with Black power taking a major role in society, with many new civil rights discussions popping up around it, many young activists taking a bright and early leadership role in the movement, and many still using the ideas from Black Power to create new laws and policies to aid Black Americans in the desegregation of America.